This chart shows the baseline cost of building a mid-range gaming PC in 2018 compared to today. 6 years ago, assembling a rig was a manageable goal. Today, the entry price has ballooned, and that's before factoring in sudden surges happening right now. Over the last few weeks, the price of RAM has jumped to 5 times its original cost, and solid-state drives have climbed 50. The pressure crushing the consumer market originates from the global artificial intelligence boom. Training and running large language models requires staggering amounts of memory, specifically the exact same NAND and DRAM chips that sit inside a standard gaming desktop. When a tech corporation builds a new data center, they don't buy chips by the dozen. They order them by the millions, absorbing the global supply in massive sweeps. The individual builder assembling a rig in their bedroom is now competing directly against trillion-dollar entities for the exact same finite resources. In that bidding war, the retail buyer is consistently outmatched. This resource conflict is controlled by a strict oligopoly. The global production of storage and memory chips is dominated by barely 3 or 4 massive manufacturers. Every memory stick and solid-state drive begins here, as a raw patterned silicon wafer moving through a semiconductor fabrication plant. Historically, factories prioritized moving these finished chips into the retail distribution pipeline. Now they are rerouting their top-tier output directly into enterprise AI contracts. These manufacturers can sell server-grade components in bulk at a massive premium. There's zero financial incentive to produce affordable, low-margin RAM for individual buyers, when data centers will pay top dollar for high-end wafers. The hardware industry hasn't forgotten how to make chips. They have simply chosen to prioritize their most lucrative clients, leaving the consumer market to fight over whatever remains. The Indian hardware market shows exactly what this global shift looks like at street level. PC gaming here was largely built around accessible public access points and cybercafes, allowing millions to participate without owning expensive hardware. Today, that accessibility is colliding with the global supply shortage. High GST, steep import duties, and strict distributor margins compound the global price hikes, making every dollar of hardware inflation feel much heavier. Because of these stacked costs, a standard mid-range graphics card is expected to cross 1.2 lakh rupees, or over $1,400 US. That price point effectively ends the hobby for the average citizen. Unable to clear the financial hurdle of building a PC, the massive Indian player base is migrating to mobile platforms to survive. Even the software is adapting to the squeeze. Developers are increasingly relying on AI upscaling technologies instead of manual optimization, putting more pressure on the very GPUs that are becoming unaffordable. In markets like India, where regional taxes amplify global trends, the traditional PC path has vanished for the average user, replaced by mobile alternatives that demand far less upfront capital. As local hardware becomes too expensive for many to own, the industry is moving toward a future without physical media or local rendering. To bridge the gap for those who can no longer afford the silicon to run games at home, the industry is proposing cloud gaming, offering to render the data in those enterprise centers and stream it back to any screen. This forces the medium into a strict subscription model. Players stream their games the exact same way they stream a movie on Netflix, shifting from a model of ownership to one of temporary access. Localized PC gaming is drifting back toward its roots in the early 80s, a high-barrier hobby where the cost of entry requires a level of disposable income that the mainstream market is struggling to provide. Global hardware manufacturers build their empires on the enthusiasm and dollars of the consumer PC builder. Now they are moving on, pivoting the entire supply chain the moment a more profitable enterprise came along.